We are learning new details about a murder in Spokane Valley. We'll check into the suspect's background and past run-ins with law enforcement. Also,
she sent me this letter saying that I think I'm your daughter.
Well, he's now connected with a daughter he never knew existed thanks to an online DNA test. Now the two are hoping to make up for lost ties.
Well, things are beginning to pop right now. A line of showers and thunderstorms all headed towards the Spokane area. Your forecast is next.
Welcome, everyone. It's good to have you with us. I'm Jane McCarthy.
Good evening. I'm Mark Hanrahan. The man accused of murdering his girlfriend in Spokane Valley refused to come to court today.
New documents show the woman found dead in Spokane Valley Wednesday had spoken to police about domestic violence. Her boyfriend, 28-year-old Joseph Scheel, is now charged in her murder.
KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has today's new developments.
New court documents state Joseph Scheel used furniture to barricade himself inside the apartment. Once law enforcement got inside, they found him with 2 knives, the apartment scattered with bloodstains, and the victim dead. Investigators say they found the victim in a small room covered with a blanket. She is identified as 48-year-old Edna Hernandez. They found a large injury on her neck consistent with a knife wound, along with other knife-related injuries to her hands and body. Within a foot of her body, investigators discovered a pair of scissors and a knife. An autopsy on the victim's body revealed she had several defensive-type wounds on her arms, stab wounds to her right cheek, and trauma to the top backside of her head. Using forensic chemicals, investigators also found evidence indicating an attempt to clean up blood in the bathroom sink. Records say Scheel had several scratches to his upper torso area and face. He told police he was concerned for his safety in jail and even admitted his use of methamphetamine contributes to his paranoia issues. According to court documents, prior to the victim's death, the two were supposed to be moved out of the apartment by the end of March. The apartment manager told investigators after talking to them about this, the victim showed her injuries to her arm and leg and acted scared or intimidated by Scheel. Docs also state the victim spoke to police about domestic violence incidents with Scheel in March and February this year. She told police he injured her and was trading drugs for sex with another woman. Scheel's criminal history shows he has traffic violations in Spokane County and recent drug charges in Kootenai County. While he refused to appear in district court this afternoon, his bond remains at $1 million. Reporting from the Spokane County Courthouse, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
And if you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, there are advocates available here locally through the YWCA. They'll take your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at that number right there on your screen.
Turning to weather now, taking a live look outside. Kind of dark, cloudy out there. Heavy rain and thunderstorms are on the way.
That's right. I want to send things over to Tom Sherry in the Weather Center with the latest on that. Tom.
Yeah, there is a large cluster of thunderstorms. It is just a little bit north of the Pullman area. Looks like it's headed towards Colfax or a little bit north of Colfax. It's all part of this squall line right here, which has been tracking up I-90. Some strong storms, not nearly as strong as the ones down in Whitman County, but we do have some that are just west of the Spokane area right now in western Spokane County. Looks like the brunt of those might make a little bit of a left turn and head north, but I do think we're going to see some heavy rain across the Spokane area as well, and more to come. Look down on the lower Columbia Basin, down a little bit kind of south of Othello or southeast of Othello. That again is an area of very heavy rain with some isolated thunderstorms in there as well. Again, here's a closer view. Showers now look like they're just hitting Cheney or just north of the Cheney area, and it looks like, so you folks up in the Tum area, it looks like you're going to see some of this thunderstorm activity, or at least certainly some areas of heavy rain may track up towards Deer Park as well. And again, I think the brunt of it will move a little bit north of Spokane, but we are going to see some heavy rain. Grand Coulee looks like it's seeing some heavy rain at this particular time. So look for a lot of this activity to continue at least through about 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock before it all moves up to the north and northeast of the Spokane and surrounding areas. 56 degrees, the expected high on Saturday. I think Saturday morning starts out dry, then we'll get some rain Saturday afternoon. Right now, the computer modeling for Sunday just shows wet weather. Overnight, into Sunday and throughout most of Sunday in eastern Washington and northern Idaho. I'll run that future tracker computer model for you, give you a better idea where this rain is going to fall over the weekend, as well as these storms tonight. All that coming up in a few minutes.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you very much. A Washington man's recent survival story should serve as a lesson to anyone planning to spend time out in the water this spring and summer.
First responders often talk about the importance of wearing a life jacket. Sometimes, though, it's not enough. Here's Ted Land.
So this is the life jacket I had that day.
Scott Thompson thought he was prepared. He snapped on his life jacket and went for an evening paddle on Lake Sammamish last month.
Wanted to kind of de-stress and relax and enjoy the nice weather.
It was windy and the sun was setting, but Thompson didn't think too much of it until he was in the middle of the lake and a swell toppled his kayak, plunging him into the frigid water.
I did have to consider I might not make it out of the lake. This could be, my life is in significant danger right now.
He tried swimming to shore in darkness.
At that point, I was praying to God and just asking for help.
By the time he made it to a dock 30 to 40 minutes later, he was a few degrees from death.
That was kind of the last bit of energy I had. I don't remember much from being on the dock.
He was pretty spent, so he wasn't even able to yell for help at that point. He was just more making guttural noises, trying to draw attention to him.
The King County Sheriff's Office Marine Rescue Dive Unit responded to the search and rescue call and says Thompson's body temperature had dipped to 87 degrees. The Bellevue Coast Guard Auxiliary presented Thompson with a new life jacket Friday and a few critical safety tools that could have sped up his rescue, a whistle and a strobe light to alert people on shore that there's an emergency.
I would say that most people who come out onto the water are actually not prepared.
The Sheriff's Office says Thompson's story can help others avoid a few common missteps, which could mean the difference between life and death.
So, a life jacket, a whistle, and a bright light. The law actually requires anyone boating after dark to have a light and a noisemaker of some sort.
Scott's experience is also a reminder to wear proper clothing, a survival suit or a wetsuit to keep you warm if you do capsize.
Okay, grab your phone to weigh in on this next story. You can go to krem.com/vote or hit the Vote Now tab on your mobile app. We're talking smoking age, and we want to hear from you on this. Today, Washington Governor Jay Inslee signed a bill into law raising the legal age to buy tobacco products to 21 years old. The law goes into effect on January 1st of next year. The American Lung Association says about 95% of people who smoke try their first cigarette before they turn 21. Backers of the bill say they think it passed this year because of how many high school kids are vaping now. The FDA has issued several warnings about teen e-cigarette use.
The bill today is going to save thousands of lives in the state of Washington. And it may not have much fanfare. Those children may never know what saved them. They will have birthday after birthday after birthday, and child after child, and Mariner World Series after Mariner World Series. Yeah. And this will be a silent victory over a deadly disease.
Washington now becomes the 10th state to raise the smoking age. Still, many people on our Facebook page say if you're an adult at 18, you should be able to buy cigarettes and other tobacco products.
And looking at our vote right now, about 80% of you at this point saying that you do support the raising the age.
Yeah, you can still weigh in if you would like.
Yeah. In other news, Idaho Governor Brad Little vetoed a controversial bill that would have made voter initiatives harder to get on the ballot. In most voting districts, it would have increased required signatures from 6% of the district to 10%. While that may not sound like a big increase, in Coeur d'Alene, their voting district, you would need just over 1,000 additional signatures to get a measure on the ballot. The bill also aimed to lower the amount of time that people have to collect those signatures. Governor Little says he vetoed that measure because of possible legal challenges.
In other news, at least 5 puppies adopted out by Spokanimal over the weekend contracted parvo. The outbreak prompted the shelter to close its dog area to the public and volunteers for the next 10 days. The dogs are receiving treatment.
Well, staff say they closed the doghouse area of the shelter out of an abundance of caution. Now, parvo can be deadly and it impacts unvaccinated puppies.
KREM 2's Alexa Block spoke with a local veterinarian about the virus and why it's so dangerous for puppies.
There's no other feeling like bringing home a new puppy. Who can resist this face? But an aggressive virus can change that feeling. Parvo is a virus that attacks the intestines of dogs.
It basically kills the tissue and causes hemorrhage and can cause sepsis and death. I mean, it's pretty serious as far as viruses go.
Parvo is one of the main viruses dogs are vaccinated for. Puppies are vulnerable to the virus until they get to 4 to 6 months old and are able to complete the series of vaccinations. It's so dangerous to unvaccinated pups because they don't have the immunity against the virus yet. Another serious factor is it can take a week or two for a puppy to actually show symptoms.
They oftentimes can have the virus before they start to show symptoms.
That's really the only way to know if a puppy should be tested for the virus.
Anytime a young puppy has vomiting or diarrhea, that's concerning. Those are the first signs of parvo.
It's recommended that if a puppy shows signs of parvo, they're taken to the vet as soon as possible. The longer you wait, there's a risk the puppy could die of dehydration.
If it is parvo, they're going to need probably hospitalization and care. It's not something that you can usually get through at home.
Experts say the virus can spread quickly among unvaccinated dogs. While the virus is generally rare, it can be more prevalent in shelters. Alexa Block, KREM 2 News.
And the shelter says owners who recently adopted vaccinated dogs or older dogs, they don't need to worry. They say they've contacted anyone who might be impacted.